Okay, this session is now being recorded. Um, Welcome. Nobody showed up to our session today, so we're just going to proceed on. We're going to talk a little bit about grades today, do a real quick overview. By the way, we're on week 2 of this transition to online, which has been kind of quiet, sort of quiet on my end. I don't know about everybody else's, but I've had a few phone calls from folks, but not overwhelming or anything, which I think is a good sign. If you agree, you can type something in the chat box. I feel like I'm very, yeah, hey. All right. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is just give you a quick overview of grades. Some different things that maybe you want to remember. I know captioning is really, Anne saying, yeah, captioning is full force, but I want to just talk a little bit about grades. I think by this point, a lot of people have their gradebook set up. If you don't have your gradebook set up, that's okay. You still have time. But I just want to go over a few things that might be helpful to you in working with your gradebook over the next few weeks. So I'm going to try to share that was one. It's interesting, you have to pick what you want to share. So hopefully you are seeing Stokes Grades training. Yes? Yes, okay. All right, so a couple of things that I kind of wanted to go over. First, very basic, weighted versus points. Okay, so the Cougarview Gradebook allows you to set up a gradebook in 2 different ways. And if I click here on assessments and then grades, this opens up my gradebook. And if I come right here to this setup wizard, and by the way, you can do this at any point during the semester. However, it's suggested that you can certainly make changes, some of these changes here, but it's suggested that if you're going to use points, you stick with points throughout the semester. If you're going to use a weighted system, stick with weighted. Don't change from a weighted system to a point system in the middle of the semester, because once you already have assignments and grade items and things graded, because that can mess up your grade book. But the other questions that we have here can pretty much be changed throughout the semester. So here in the setup wizard, you decide how you want your gradebook to be set up. And essentially what you're going to do is answer each of these questions as you go along. The first being, if we click down here on the start button, whether you're going to have a weighted system or a point system. And there's some definitions here kind of explaining what each of these are. Or if you're very adventurous or a mathematician or computer scientist, you may want to choose the formula button. And if that's you, then you have to come to somebody other than me for help, because I do not know. I'll just tell you that right now. But that is an option. And as you go through, you see that there are some different things that you can decide to have released, like final calculated grade and adjusted final grade. I'll be honest with you, these two right here, it doesn't really matter which one you release. If we had a system that where the student information system pulled whatever grade was available in Cougarview, then these two would matter. Okay, they don't so much matter because we have to enter grades through Banner. So your Cougarview gradebook acts as a record of the student grade, and then you take that grade and you go into a different system, Banner, and you put the student's official final grade that goes on their transcript. So these two, doesn't really matter what you come out with here because you're just going to take that final grade and put it somewhere else. You can automatically release the final grade. This drop ungraded items and treat ungraded items as 0. This can be important. Drop ungraded items means that grade items in your grade book do not calculate in the final grade as you are putting them in as the semester goes on. If you click this treat ungraded items as 0, essentially the student's going to have a failing grade up to a point where they have more grade items that are calculating than not calculating. And I have used this before, but as a general rule, just keep it on drop ungraded items. You can select to keep the final grade automatically updated. A percentage is usually what we all, the scheme that we want to use. 2 decimal places looks good. This student view display, this is going to view, and I'll show you what this is in just a moment, the points grade, the weighted grade, the scheme symbol, that's just that percentage sign. And then Cougarview does something really cool in that it color codes each of the grades. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute if you don't know. Then you can just click continue through that. And this last step here is how you've answered all of your questions. So if there's something that you want to change, it's very easy for you to go back and do. Okay, once you have all of those set up, you can come right here to Integrates. And notice up here at the top, we have different tabs to kind of manage the grade book. I'm still in the grade book, and there are different what we call tabs or buttons to manage this grade book. Intergrades is where is the default for when you click on assessments and then grades. It's going to come right here to Intergrades, and Intergrades is going to show you a list of your students and any grade items that you have set up. So a couple of things that I see here, in my final calculated grade, here's that points out of, okay, I made that selection, and the percentage, the weighted percentage of this, okay. Also, you see that they're color coded. My A's are blue, my B's are green, and then anything below 70 is a failing grade or a D or a failing grade, and those are usually in pink. Now, as you can see here in my grade book, I can easily come in here and change a grade. That's because I'm on what's known as the spreadsheet view. If you're looking at your grade book and you can't change the grade here, then all you need to do is come up here to this button, which should say switch to spreadsheet view. Now mine says switch to standard view because I'm already on the spreadsheet view. I hope that makes sense. So if you're not able to put a grade in your grade item here, click this right here, and it should be able to make the gradebook work sort of as an Excel spreadsheet. Hello, Dr. Rogers. Thank you for joining us today. We're going over a brief overview of grades. Hopefully, you'll find some of this information useful.
Alrighty, I'll listen for the grading. I got some questions still on uploading the respondus.
Okay.
Got a couple of files ready, but no rush.
All right. Well, this is just a quick overview, so if it's okay, we'll just give to your question in just a moment. All right. Let me take a look at my PowerPoint real quick, make sure I know where I'm going. Okay. Okay. So understand that using the gradebook is really a two-step process. Yes, you need a grade item, but you also need some kind of, if you're using one of the tools in Cougarview, then you also need to create some sort of assignment or quiz or discussion. So what I mean is just because you've created a quiz or you've created a discussion, even though that quiz or discussion asks for a score out of, that doesn't necessarily mean that that score is going into the grade book. You have to turn around and then create a grade item. Now, I mentioned before that when you click on assessments and then grades, it defaults to Intergrades. If I click on manage grades, this is going to show me a list of all of the grade items that I have. Now, this particular grade book is a weighted grade book, meaning that I have a category here, which is assignments, and then a weight for that category, and then grade items listed below. Same thing with the discussions, which is worth 20%, exams worth 50%. So you see my categories here are this bluish color, and then the grade items are this white color right here, this line item. Understand that the grade items creates a column in your grade book. For example, this website eval right here, if I switch back over to enter grades, you'll see that this is my first column right here, website evaluation, and so forth. Under manage grades, this is where, like I said, you set up your grade categories and then add your grade items. To add a grade item is very simple. You just click on this blue new button. Here's an item, and if you needed to add an additional category, you could do that as well. Of course, at this point, my 3 categories here add up to 100%. So my gradebook is good. There are no errors in my gradebook. If I were to add another category and make it a percentage, then my gradebook would add up to more than 100%, and it would give me an error message right up here. So if you're getting one of those, you may want to check your categories right here because maybe they don't add up to 100%. If that's the case and you can't figure it out, give us a call. We can help you with that. No problem. So, moving on. What I wanted to say was I talked about it being a 2-step process. Not only did you have to have a grade item, but you also have to have, if you're linking this in the grade book, you have to have that tool, whatever it is, also set up. So if I come up here to assignments, because you see my website evaluation right here is associated with an assignment submission folder or assignment Dropbox. It's called lots of different things. I can show you right here quickly how this is linked up. So if I click on assessments and then assignments, you see here assignment 1, which is actually, I think, the website evaluation. We'll find out in just a second. If I click this drop down arrow, now here I'm in the assignment submission folder, so I'm going to edit that. And if I scroll down, it's all on the same page under evaluation and feedback. I need a score out of for this assignment submission folder, but I also need to select a grade item. And when I select this grade item, that means that the score that I put in here is going to go back to the grade book. If I didn't have a grade item, then I could still grade this assignment submission folder, but the grade would not be in the grade book. The same holds true for the quizzing tool and the discussions. Now, another thing that you may want to make sure of course, my students here, I only have 3 students in this class, but some classes have a lot of students. And you may not know who is working your course and who's not. And so you could certainly go through your grade book and try to find all the pink people, right? And therefore you would know that those people are not participating or whatnot, and therefore not passing your class. One thing I want to make sure that you're doing is, as you are grading assignments, you make sure that you put a 0 in the grade book for any student who has not completed or attempted work, because this is going to give the student a true representation of their grade. Okay, if you don't give them anything, then nothing's going to calculate in, and the student could have a passing grade all semester long. If you wait till the end of the semester to go in and put a lot of zeros in, because they didn't do work all semester, then their grade could drop very quickly at the very end of the semester. But if you've been putting in zeros all along, and you come here to the end and you want to know exactly who is not participating or who's not working your course, you can just click on the words final calculated grade, And this really works well in a class that has a lot of students, because then all of your failing students or students who are not working the course show up here at the top. In my class, it's just one student because I only have 3 students. But here, this would make it easier for you to write down these names, or make plans to email these students and find out what's going on, if they're having trouble, or if there's a reason why they're not participating. It makes it really easy for you to do that. Okay. Can't really ask if there are any questions because, well, Dr. Rogers, do you have any questions about the gradebook?
Not so far as you have talked about it, but mine unfortunately isn't quite that simple. So I think my grade book, my grade is based on 40% of labs. I have 2 categories, labs and quizzes. 40% labs, but the quizzes, I throw out the lowest quiz and replace it with the final, and that is their quiz average. And I don't know how to do that in here, so I don't use this. I basically do my grading in Excel, and then I import the grades from Excel.
Yeah. Certainly I can show you how to drop the lowest quiz grade. That's easy to do in Cougarview. If I come over here to manage grades, and if we said that this was quizzes, like maybe you had several quizzes right here, I would go to this category and I would edit this. If we click this radio button right here, distribute weight evenly across all items, you could put the number 1 in here, and this would drop the lowest non-bonus items for each user. It'd be the lowest quiz grade. So if you had 10 quizzes, this would drop that. To turn around and replace this with the final, or yeah, that I'm not sure how you would do. You probably would need to do that and manually in some kind of Excel.
My final has the same weight. My quizzes are really tests. I just don't call them quizzes because nobody's ever had quiz anxiety.
Right.
People have test anxiety, so.
Right. So if I did that and then went back to enter grades, you would see, and I switched to standard view. See how there's an exclamation point right here? That's meaning that something's been dropped.
Okay.
That's what that means.
And it takes a different lowest one for each student, possibly, not just all quiz 2 or something like that.
Right, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
It would be the lowest, whatever the lowest for that student is.
Okay. All
right. Okay, so that's all I had for Gradebook overview. Certainly, if anybody's listening to this recording and need some help with their Gradebook, we are more than happy to accommodate you. I'm going to, whoa, just did something weird with my screen there. I'm going to stop sharing, and Dr. Rogers, you said you had a question about Respondus? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your question?
Okay. Well, I'm trying to follow JFET's latest email on how to import, and I have saved a file. I think it's a zip file, and then I go to import components on the import export copy component from course admin, and it says pick import and also choose from a file, and there's no from a file option to choose, so I just kept going, and that's where I ran into trouble. Didn't know how to follow the next set of instructions.
John, are you able to help him?
Dr. Rogers, are you using Respondus campus-wide to upload a quiz, or what?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to use, but it wouldn't let me do it directly from that tool. And I got an email from JFET saying that there's some changes to D2L required some changes So I followed the first part without any problem, and then I went into D2L and I'm trying to import the quiz, and that's where I get stuck.
Okay, so we created you a alias account.
Not that I know of.
Ian, I think the easiest way for Dr. Rogers is actually to export it from responders.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
using the QTI package, and I think that's a simple step because you have already created your quizzes ready in responders.
Yeah, that would be the way to go, really. That would save a lot of issues with the. Now, where's my respondus here on this
Dr.
machine?
Rogers, do you have your responders up and running?
Yes.
Okay. Kim, if I may ask you, can you stop recording because you are going to share the desktop?
Okay, you want me to share it?